Sure. I was like, it already in my head. I was just like, hey, so you already know that you are a waifu, but did you know that not only have you inspired fanboys and fangirls alike to work out because of you voicing Mirko, but did you also know about the waifu, WHEY?
Oh yeah, I know the way.
That's new to me. I was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about being able to push people in that direction?
I don't think you're not really guaranteed to like get a really popular character when you do voice acting, especially anime voice acting. It's just like whatever you fall into. I never expected to get Pokemon, My Hero, anything that I've done really. And to be playing so many best girls is an honor. And it's fun because it's like, I get to explore my range a lot. I get to play with like these wonderful characters that are complex and like find their subtleties and everything. And also like I would marry them all, so they're like my waifus. Like I like playing.
Well, okay. This question comes from a person from the audience, 14-year-old girl. She's like, she is of Latina background, and so she, of course, seen you as a voice actor and a woman of color. She feels like you have helped change the look of voice acting. You are the voice actor of several amazing characters in animes like Nessa, from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titans, RWBY, and more. How have it been? How have it been to make your path in voice acting?
I when I started doing voice acting, I was doing it for fun. It was like a hobby that I started when I was like 11, and I was, just doing like comic dubs or whatever I felt like doing. And then eventually I kind of fell into doing like more original work, and it was fun like creating with other creators, and I realized I really liked that collaborative side. And then getting to join the industry, in the past couple of years, it's like, it's bizarre. I'm still kind of processing everything that happened, especially because it's like during a pandemic. So it's like, oh yeah, this is happening, but like I still come out of the booth to like go hang out with my kitties, So it's like it doesn't really feel like anything's changed. But then you'll watch the finished product, you'll see everyone's reactions, and with cons like this, it's like I've had so many people tell me like how much it means to them and sharing their stories, and it really touches me because it's like, this is what I wanted when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. So I am very honored to be what I couldn't get,
Yes. Well, thank you for answering that question for her. Now I saw a line that you are acting in several upcoming films, like Grimoire and then Ragnarok, Kill. What can we look forward to in these upcoming projects?
I was like, where is Okay. Yeah, that was a fan project actually.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, because I like doing it for fun. But yeah, I work constantly. I'm like full time. I think I was working like every day starting August. So I work a lot. And there's a lot of things that are not out, and I'm waiting patiently for things to come out. So stay tuned, as always.
All right.
Awesome. I was gonna say, who have been your most favorite characters to do voices for?
I love them all. They're like all a part of me. I think when you create, you insert yourself into it. So they all have things that I can relate to and things that I can't relate to and can kind of learn from, right? Like Mirko, such an outspoken character. I'm more to myself, chill, and I can learn like how to be outspoken with her. And so you learn a lot. But I think the most interesting to have played was Echidna. Just because I never really explored the villain archetype before. Like I was kind of used to characters like Mirko. I was kind of used to, really Mirko. Like I was used to the spunky types and everything, and the stoic types as well. But I've never done that kind of like evil, manipulative, but very cunning. Like she's very complex. And I found that I really liked it, and it was really fun to play with, and especially because she's not like just a straight villain. She's an antagonist, but like her motive is just to know everything that there is to know. And so, exploring the different sides, exploring why she says or does the things that she does, that was really, really fun. So probably Echidna. In terms of like favorite performance, all of them are my favorite though. I love them all.
Okay.
So how did you get into voice acting?
So when I was a kid, I always liked acting. I was the type of person that would like get a camera and I would just record myself like being Oprah. I was doing stuff like that. I watched the Cheetah Girls. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have my own stuff. I'm gonna do Siberian Girls. But then I was like, oh, I don't have anybody to do this with. Dang. But I was very imaginative and it definitely really into acting. But I was also shy at the time and we moved a lot, so I didn't really get to go into the theater scene at all. And when I was 11, I was using the internet more. And I found that there was an online community that was all about voice acting. And, just people doing it for fun. They were doing fan dubs, comic dubs, and it was really fun playing and getting to try different characters. And I remember at first, because I was so young, my voice was higher. I sounded more like Rini from Sailor Moon. And so I used to get cast a lot as higher voice characters, like the kids, and it was really fun. But then I would see characters like Riza Hawkeye and stuff. And I'm like, I want to play that, So I kind of trained myself to have a range over time. And yeah, I was just doing it for so long and eventually fell into original work. And, I was constantly working. And I guess I kind of became a name within the indie community, and then industry folk wanted to pull me in. And I started working or booking auditions from Florida, actually, in 2018. Like my first one was Kimono Friends, and then my second one was RWBY, and then I was like, oh, I should probably move. And I tried for a little bit, and then I had a family emergency. I had to go back home. Which meant putting my work second, but that's okay because for me, family comes first. And then the pandemic happened, and then it's like, oh, so many opportunities, and I guess because I've had so much practice already, I was just ready, for everything. So here I am.
And do you have any tips for anybody that is trying to get into voice acting or acting, especially women of color, as Hollywood is trying to diversify and really pull for the angles that so many have seen the success from Black Panther and Crazy Rich Asians? They're looking for more diversity in their actors and voice actors. Any tips you give anybody that's trying to get into that industry or things to look out for?
I guess right now trying to be a voice actor or creative in general is a blessing because I think last year with the George Floyd protests, a conversation started about the lack of diversity in fields in general. And so now it's become a conversation. Now we can talk about it, and producers and directors and everything know about it. So I think now there is more action to try and diversify, to try and bring in new people, try to bring in people of color. So my whole thing is that, do what you can. There's this website called voiceactingclub.com. It's ran by Kara Bucklin, who is the voice of Jolene. I'm so happy for her. And she made it because she wanted to bridge the gap between, beginner voice actors and us professionals. And, I started as a beginner voice actor, and I got to learn from professionals. And, it's just sharing a bunch of information, learning, what studios might do to try and take advantage of you or whatever. And, we learn from each other. So, join that. And there's so many guides on there, free guides, where you can learn about how to get a mic, how to get software, whatever, and even like, oh, how do you audition, blah, blah, blah. So that's my number one recommendation, always. But, you know, even now still, you can get typecast. The usual typecast for Black people, it's like Black men are usually monsters or gang members or whatever. And then for Black women, if they ever brought them in, like rarely, it's like, oh, you're an extra character here, or this character was especially Black, so I guess we'll bring you in. So you are in control of your career more than you realize. You don't have to fit whatever box they want you to be in. So play and learn, and don't let anyone try to control you. You know, that's what I've always done, because, you know, a few of my first few roles were Black people, you know. I was voicing Nessa and Mirko and Harriet Bree and all that, and I always said to myself that I didn't want to try and put on anything. I just wanted to be me, you know. And I'm glad, because it's like, oh, you know, now we can see somebody else portraying these characters, and I get to be authentic to me. I don't feel like I'm playing it up for anybody, so it's nice to just be you, and don't be afraid to be you. I was gonna say Pitbull, but
Oh no.
well, no, it's because I really love Shinx too. I think I would give it to Shinx first. I love Shinx so much. Like, I love their evolutions, and it reminds me of a cat. And right now I'm like a huge cat lady, so it's like, oh, a little cat.
I have a question then. So have you played Calico? The
I
game
have
Calico?
not. No.
It's so cute. Like, I just found it. It's on Steam for like $4. And
Oh my
basically what happens is you come into this world. It's inhabited by magical people. And all you do is rebuild this cat cafe. And you fill it with all of these fluffy, cute animals.
Oh my god.
Sounds super cutesy. It might not be everyone's, thing, but it's super relaxing just because it has a soundtrack that's a little bit similar to Steven Universe almost. And it's the colors. It's so beautiful. I highly recommend it.
I will check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh my gosh.
Do you what do you enjoy outside of that? Voice acting?
I'm a huge workaholic, so I struggle to make sure I have like a work-life divide. I play games. Lately, I've been trying to spend more time with friends. You know, hang out with my cats. That is my therapy as well, and just try to meditate more and just not be so work focused. I tend to be like very focused. Like, if I start focusing on something, I just want to do that, and I keep doing it. So I try to move it somewhere else. Like, okay, let's switch this obsession to video games right now, or whatever, and just kind of force myself to relax, because otherwise I will just keep working on constantly. So
Really, same.
yeah, especially like with voice acting. Like, I've worked as late as 2:00 for a client in Korea, like 2 a.m. And as early as like 9 a.m. And I'm constantly on my phone checking my inbox and everything. So it's like, it doesn't really end, and it's hard to put boundaries. I try to, but sometimes you just can't. So it's rough.
Besides anime video games, you're also known for your online presence. How do you feel that the online community has helped your career?
It's very awesome getting to talk to people who, their stories are similar to mine. Like, I can relate to them, and especially getting to, I guess, inspire them to do whatever they want to do. I'm all about being kind and honest and true to yourself. And just, don't be afraid to be creatively expressive. So I try to encourage people to be like, hey, you know, do what you want to do. And hey, don't be mean. There's no reason for that, you know. But it's cool because I feel like my community, online community is, or even in-person community, whenever I do these cons, they're very kind, very sweet. They want to help each other. I never really have any bad experiences. There's this one time in Anime NYC where this girl was pouring her heart out to me. And she was Afro-Latina también, or she was Afro-Latina too, sorry. And you know, she was just telling me how I got her through a rough time. And I was like, man, I'm so glad I can do that for you, you know, and getting to see that impact and getting to see everyone else be kind towards her. Like, nobody was upset or anything that they were waiting for a while to go on. Like, that's, for me, that's a blessing. You know, my whole thing, I love helping people in whatever way I can. And this is an awesome way to help people, you know, because stories can really touch you.
You're out of 15.
Okay.
Any last minute question?
Well, anything new coming down the pipeline?
That you can talk about.
Right. I was just like,
We all know.
you never know.
Yeah, everything's like underneath. I mean, Attack on Titan Part 2 is coming out, and also Irregular new season of Remnants arc, and How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdoms, the second part of the season. So most likely I will be returning for those. So that's all I can say that isn't under NDA, but all I can say is that I'm constantly working.
Okay.
So expect.
All right, one last question. Because you are a gamer, I'm a gamer too. I just want to know, like, what your genres are of choice to play.
Yeah, RPG. I really like RPGs. RPGs. I've recently became a masochist and just really like the Soulsborne games, like the Metroidvania, the platformers. I'm actually really into platformers. But I was playing Hollow Knight obsessively, and I've just become actually too good at that game, you know. And I was terrible at it at first, so. I guess I like things that have, in general, I will play anything that has a good story. Anything that has a good story, I will be like, okay, I don't usually play this type of game, but this is a cool story, I will do it for that.
Okay.
That's how I ended up playing Final Fantasy 13, because I was like, oh, the story looks so nice, and I don't think I'd ever really played a lot of JRPGs back then. And I saw the story and then the music. And I was like, I'm gonna buy it just for that. I don't know what's going on, but
like, the music can actually really make a game.
it
Another
really
one,
can.
Like, I know you have to go, but another one that's really good that you should check out since you like platformers and a good story, it's the Little Nightmares series.
Oh, I've seen a playthrough of the first one. I haven't seen the second one though.
Gosh, so there's so many theories on YouTube about it. I streamed the first and second one in order. So the way that it all just started to make sense with the character 6, like, it's definitely worth it. Like, it really is worth it. Definitely, when you have off time, give it a try.
I will.
You know?
Yeah.
We're gonna
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off, called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii in a perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
I'm Steve Bloom. I've been a voice actor for more than 30 years, playing characters like Wolverine, Starscream, Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty.
With Bloomfox Studios, I've learned so much about myself.
Learning to breathe, to no fear, to getting ugly in front of the mic.
One of the biggest changes I've noticed, at least for me, is how much my confidence level has gone up.
I've done an Eastern European video game, an e-commerce commercial, a documentary. If you're thinking about getting into voiceover, just do it. Jump in.